All right, good morning. I want to talk about that one question that everybody has, right? What brought you from being not profitable to being profitable in day trading? Okay, I want to talk about that. And for me, honestly, it was not just one aha moment. It was just not one thing that I can just hand you, like, here, boom, there you go. There's the moment. That's what you need to do. Go and do it and be profitable. It wasn't quite that easy, all right? But there was a mind shift change that really made a difference, and that's what I want to share with you today. So one of the things I noticed about people that I coach, and then also about my own trading journey, was the fact like how I did change management. Okay, in my job, in my career, besides trading, there's change management. And in that change management, you need to follow an actual process of how you're going to make change. All right, what I notice is people like kind of have a bad week. So they're like, oh, I got to change my strategy, right? They get stopped out a couple of times just to see the market go in their direction. So they're like, oh, I need to make risk management changes. And it was like, man, like you can't just like make change after change after change after change. Of course, we do need to make changes and we do need to better our strategies. But it was that constant living in this like whitewater rapid, level 5, just constant river of change. That's what became so chaotic that I was unable to become successful. So I want to talk about that. So let's go ahead and go over these notes, okay? What I recommend, what helped me, and what helps a lot of people that I've been talking to, is you want to isolate your variables for learning, okay, and for change. When you change one variable, right, at a time, you're going to make one change. Example being new strategy, risk management, time frames, whatever it is, right? If you're using fair value gaps versus breaker blocks, this liquidity, time based this, whatever. Okay, you can better identify its impact on your trading performance. If multiple changes are made simultaneously, it becomes very difficult to determine, right? What that adjustment, if that adjustment led to success or failure. Okay, this is huge. This is what I see a lot. People just make a change and then they just feel it out and see how it goes, and they don't test it in a ranging market, in a bearish market, in a bullish market, whatever, right? And and if you make two or three changes at once, how are you supposed to figure out which one did what and which one changed what? Okay, all right. So number one, I really recommend just doing one change at a time. All right. Find a strategy, stick to it. You need to determine if it's your strategy or if it's risk management or if it was FOMO or, something like that. All right. So you want to avoid being overwhelmed. Okay. Day trading is a high pressure activity. Okay. It requires quick decisions and focus. Introducing multiple changes at once can overwhelm your cognitive capacity. Okay. Can't stress that enough. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just because I'm a little slow, okay? And I'm not just some super genius, okay? I do know a few people that kind of are on that level. I'm not, okay? So when I make a ton of changes at once, it overwhelms me cognitively, all right? And that leads to errors and stress and reduced performance. And a single focus allows a gradual and manageable progress, okay? All right, so let's keep going. So, reinforce discipline. Okay. Changing one aspect of your trading plan requires patience and discipline, both of which are crucial traits for long term success. This approach helps you build consistency in decision making, which is the foundation of profitable trading. Okay. It's a lot harder to like make five changes and be like, I'm going to be disciplined on all five of these changes before you've even like behaviorally worked on yourself. Okay. If you make one change at a time and you're like, okay, I'm going to make this one change, I'm going to focus on changing this one behavior, this one thing, that's much easier to manage. And okay, I've got to watch myself with FOMO, my risk management, my strategy, like all at once. Okay. If you make gradual changes, it will make a really big difference. All right. And then optimize adaptation. Okay. Every change impacts your trading behavior and outcomes. Focusing on one modification at a time allows you to adapt to the new condition before introducing new changes. This method ensures that your adjustments and sustainability are not rushed. Okay? It's huge. All right. Seriously, people ask me, what was your aha moment? Really wasn't an aha moment, but it kind of was. If I can manage my change management correctly, everything else seemed to stay in line. When I started making subtle changes to a strategy that I had been comfortable with and working with for a long period of time, it was much easier to make changes and to test ideas and do things because I was working within a framework and I only tweaked that framework a little at a time. I was not making drastic changes like, oh man, I trade EMAs, they're the way to go. Oh man, I trade ICT, that's the way to go. Oh man, I trade only breaker blocks. Oh, only fair value. I didn't like just change everything like all at once. Okay. So when you make changes, accurate backtesting and analysis is important. Okay. I'm not like a big believer in sitting on backtesting forever. Okay. I'm really not. I think forward testing is kind of the only way to go, but we need to know that like when we're back testing, we need to believe in what we're doing. That's what I'm trying to say. We need to believe in what we're doing. And if you don't believe in what you're doing, either you haven't back tested it enough and you don't have enough analysis for your brain to go, hey, that should actually work. Okay. Now I found strategies that work and then I have a hard time implementing them behaviorally. All right. So then I found other ones that work just as well and they work better with me behaviorally. One example, honestly, is Market Cipher. I have a friend who trades Market Cipher like a boss. Okay. I struggle with Market Cipher. It's just the amount of data that's there that's put in front of me. I trip over it. Okay. When I do a blank chart with candles and I'm reading price action with ICT concepts, I get it. It makes more sense to me. Okay. So, understanding that about yourself can make a big difference. Okay. And this is how you're going to build confidence gradually. Success from a single change can boost confidence and encourages further improvement. All right. So, as you make small changes and you improve yourself little by little by little, I've given my strategy out and people have struggled, to use it. And maybe it's like 40 to 50% close. They get a little frustrated. We go over the data and I'm like, well, these 5 trades out of the 20 we're looking at were technically FOMO, right? And they're like, yeah. So take those out. Now what's your winning hit rate? It's much higher. Okay. But, doing these things a little at a time, it really helps build that confidence gradually in yourself where you're like, let me take those 5 trades out. And now all of a sudden your R&R is hitting higher and you're like, okay, this is good. I see, and it was just one change, right? And then we can like focus on, well, your risk management's a little off, right? Like I average like, 2.75 R per trade. Someone using the same strategy, they're too scared and they're in too much fear, so they get stopped out a lot and profit and they kind of miss the bigger moves. Maybe they only average 1.4 R with the same strategy. That's going to make a big difference, right? I mean, I have someone who uses my same strategy a lot, and they close much better than me, and it's because their R&R is higher because they don't have as much over managing a trade that I do. Okay. Okay. So this gradual approach helps you develop trust in your trading system, which is essential for executing trades without hesitation or doubt. Okay. If you don't believe in what you're doing, you're going to hesitate. You're going to have fear. You're going to start getting filled with emotions. And I mean, of course, you can't get rid of emotions when you're trading. But what I mean is they're going to be exaggerated, right? You're going to be like freaking out because you just entered a trade on a fair value gap, right? And you're like, oh man, I don't know about these fair value gaps. Well, that right there tells me, you may need to go back to the charts to work on back testing so that way you can see them work over and over again, right? So that way when you're in the live market and it's like pumping into a fair value gap and you're taking a short based on that, hopefully with a lot of other confluences, you're going to believe in it and go, I might get stopped out in this, but I know 75% of the time it's going to go in my direction. Okay. So by focusing on one change at a time, day traders can achieve steady and measurable improvement, enhancing both their skills and long-term profitability. This is hard. Okay. I get lazy about this. I'm not really a data or a spreadsheet guy. But I do know like an overall picture of how I perform, because I know if I don't do that, then I'm just going to slide down the slope of FOMO and, over managing trades is, an issue usually. I'll get stopped out and it just continues to my chart or my target. I'm like, oh, I knew that's where we were going. Not that you ever know, but it was my target. I was over managing, moving my stop and trailing and whatever, and it just went too far. So if I don't journal and find those things out, then how can I fix them? Okay. So I'm just going to wrap up this video. I was trying to keep this short and sweet, but this is my what made you successful. It was this. It really was this. Okay. I found a strategy that worked. And then I dug into myself to find out my problems as a trader, right? My FOMO, my, fear, like my fear of being wrong specifically was a big issue. All right. So those kind of things I do need to work on, but one at a time. Okay. I can't write down everything that I know I'm doing wrong and then like behaviorally manage it and expect to understand the results of what's working and what's not. So I just want to say, I want to encourage everybody who's watching this, just make small changes and test them for a while. Okay. So that way you can build that confidence in yourself and in your strategy. Because even if I know I'm a FOMO trader and I have a lot of problems with FOMO, and I know that about myself, and I have a strategy that works well, I know that I can focus on the FOMO. And I know that, if everything else is dialed in, I'm going to be okay. I'm going to feel FOMO, right? Me, I have that fear of being wrong. So whenever I can visualize myself losing the trade ahead of time, then usually I'm okay with it. And I'm like, okay, that was a loss. No big deal. But just one change at a time. I really hope this video was encouraging to you guys. You can, there's links down below if you want to, have a conversation on Discord or something. You can do that. But anyways, share this with somebody you think that'll, would benefit from it. And good luck to you guys, and I'll see you in the next video.